Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Oh man, I wish I could find a way to better advertise Apothic Press.
Just back it already.
Whoa, Crom, what are you doing here? What's this? The Madness Roku Network. Sponsorship. 1 month of playing your 30-second ad on the network 3 times a day? Oh my gosh, for $20? And you can't beat that.
Just back it already.
All right, Crom, I'm doing it. Awesome. Hi, I'm Tanner Hurley, founder of Apothic Press. I back the Madness Roku Network, and so should you.
Fairview's coffee has mysteriously gone missing. Mayhem ensues when strange, coffee-craving zombies plague the city. Detective Mickey Potatoes, an overworked public servant, uncovers why ordinary citizens are losing their minds and how to stop the coffee apocalypse. But it involves the mafia. And when you're dealing with mafia crime families, nothing is ever easy. The mafia controls everything in the city, including the police, including him. If he breaks the mafia, they will break him. So, the city is without coffee. The city is burning before his very eyes, but he's powerless. Detective Potatoes has the power to stop the coffee apocalypse, but if he does, he could lose everything.
What is Path of the Pale Rider anyway? Is it a comic book? No, that's not it. Is it this? What the heck is Path of the Pale Rider, man? There's no way this is right. How about this? I have no idea.
We can rob a bank.
Oh, it's this.
The Madness Comic Network and Comic Related Madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt on YouTube.
What's up, people? Good morning. It's Tuesday. When I talk about having the hottest coffee around, damn it, I burnt my mouth today. I made myself some chai, and I had the lid on. I guess it was very tight because it did not cool down for the last, 30 minutes. Burnt the crap out of my tongue. Feels like it. You know what I mean? It's like that's the worst feeling in the world. So I'm gonna wait to drink this so I don't kill myself. Yeah, fun times. Oh, let's see what's been going on in my neck of the woods. I went to another con this weekend with Marco DeFio. I had a blast. He and I shared a table and got harassed by other creators. It was fun. It was in Arlington. Good morning. By the way, here's John. Good morning, John, with the bear. And then good morning, Don Dulas. Good morning. So Arlington was great. Their crowd is always so nice. And that's where Marco DeFio is from. So they always love hearing that, the artist is right from their neighborhood. We got a lot of people buying Path of the Pale Rider this past weekend, which was great. Kickstarter is still doing its thing. And let me get it up here so you can take a look. We got 6 days left. Like I didn't know that. Like I'm not looking at it every 3 seconds, right? Here we are. We're $153 away from the next stretch goal, which is the one and only Slice and Dice. I cannot wait. We're going to get there for sure. We just got to push a little bit more, but we are going to smash a pumpkin. And you guys will get to name the pumpkin before I disassemble Johnny 5. I don't know. Maybe Johnny 5 can be its name, but I'm really tempted to find just a giant wooden mallet to see how big the radius can be. Yeah, and the soup can in a sock is definitely going to make an appearance. So this is coming. As long as we keep trucking along, we'll get there. This pumpkin is going to have a bad day. It'll be fun. If we happen to get to 150 backers, I'm not sure if we will, and that's okay. We haven't gotten there yet, but we could reveal another poker card, but we have unlocked two poker cards so far. And to add to our King of Hearts would be wonderful. Make sure you're checking out all the cool things. Remember, there's a secret reward. There's the iron-on patches, and I found extra patches from the first campaign. So there's 12 of these that I found. So I made those available. So some people have been grabbing those, but I don't know if you know they're available. They're there. The metal covers I dropped in price because there's also an option to add on a metal cover for issue number 1, which wasn't previously available. That's super cool. And I'm surprised no one has grabbed this. So original sketch from Marco DeFio. It's a sketch cover with his art on it. His original Big James or Jude St. Clair or Pile of Zombies, whatever you decide. And it'll be 1 of 1. That's amazing. Someone needs to take advantage of that. Surprise! We got something new. This is a what do we call it? Exclusive. There's a button for that. Let me find it. I pushed the button. For everybody who doesn't know Carissa Grant and Worthy Chaos, she and I have been friends since we kind of started this journey. And we always talk about like what would happen if Jude St. Clair showed up in Worthy Chaos, or what if Worthy Chaos accidentally landed in Path of the Pale Rider? Like, how would our characters interact? So here you have it. Here's Jude St. Clair being polite to Sarah and just touching her hand. And then there's Draven in the back hulking out, busting out of his shirt in anger because someone touched his girl. So I think this is super funny. Of course, we had to throw our big bads in there. So there's a big James and an Anubis under the blood moon. Jonas DaCosta drew this. He drew all the characters, and Jonas is the main artist for Worthy Chaos. And then it was colored by Matt Chambers, who is the colorist on Path of the Pale Rider and future colorist on Worthy Chaos. He's doing pages for them that they just haven't released yet. You haven't seen them. So this is free to anybody who backs both Path of the Pale Rider and Worthy Chaos. So if you are a fan of both of our things, here you go. You get this cool blood moon scenario that we just laugh about in our heads. It is there for you and super cool. All right. So there's kind of where we are. We're at that fun place in the Kickstarter where I feel like I'm getting kicked in the nads. If I had nads, I'm sure my guest would agree with me that it's very much like this.
Hold on. I think I'm bleeding. Am I bleeding? Ow! Ow! Nose and lips! Okay, ow.
Yeah, that's where we're at. It feels like 5 steps forward and 3 steps back. That's where we kind of are, but it'll pick up. We're in the last home stretch. There's going to be a day or two where like everybody decides, oh, it's time. It is time. And they come, and it'll, do its thing in the last few days, because that is what happens. But yeah, I'm going to bring on Jeff. Jeff is a returning guest. Last time he was on, we were talking about his horror comic, Roseville, Awful Thoughts. Jeff, today we're going to talk about his current Kickstarter, which is Razor Wire Maguire, which looks really interesting to me. And all the other goodies that are coming. He kind of teased me yesterday where he was like, yeah, we'll talk about Razor Wire Maguire and we'll talk about these new things. And I was like, oh, new things. Okay. I'm excited.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that the truth? It's always how it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay in front of it.
How are you, man? How you feeling? Life treating you okay?
Thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just been really busy because, I think I told you the last time when we talked, and maybe you've seen my post, but I like do comic book stuff all the time, like whether it's buying and selling them or cleaning and pressing them with the machines. And so there's just always something, people online. There's a huge network of people always tapping into every day. And it's crazy how, if you were to sit there in 1 week's time and go back at the end of the week and see how many people you've interacted with and networked with, it'd probably blow your mind just on 1 week,
I've never thought about that. I should go look and see, because I feel like that's me too, where I just run all day long.
Yeah.
Between family stuff and indie community and Kickstartering and artist team. And it's just, it's, nonstop. And what is it like? You can work for someone else 40 hours a week, but if you work for yourself, it's 24/7.
Yeah, that's basically more or less about how it goes. It's worth it though. It has its rewards, and you got to remind yourself of why you wanted to do it in the first place. And if you're so passionate about it, at that time, then you keep on moving forward.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I've had rough days, but I look back at it, and when I was doing my job my remote job with the company in Michigan, who was a great company, but I would have rough days there. And my rough days now are in no comparison, you know what
Right.
I mean, to what I was doing before. So I'm like, even though today sucked, it still wasn't as bad as what I was
Right.
having to put up
Still
with.
better than the
Still better.
best day at the other place, you know?
Yes, absolutely. So you make it what you want, kind of, right?
More or less.
Oh, so let's see. So Roseville and Awful Thoughts were the last ones. Where are those two at currently?
Well, Awful Thoughts, it's been reworked and redone and stuff, and toward what it is, to become what it is now. It's kind of just what it is. It's a one-shot kind of deal, and I'd love to go back and do another volume, like identical to this one, to the last one. The same kind of premise, same synopsis, just more weird, crazy, violent stories and fun stuff. You know, just awful thoughts from my head. So I would love to go back and do that again, but it's gonna be expensive. I need to be doing them Laurie Kickstarter numbers if I'm gonna be able to get that one done. So
Why, thank you.
yeah, but we'll see. You know, it's I'm trying to continue to build my network and the base of people that are supportive and, you know, religiously help out and contribute and want to see me succeed. And man, I'm so grateful for everybody that does that. And I'm just trying to find more and more people like that, because along the way, you know, I've lost people. You know, I've had stuff. I'm still late on my sci-fi book. It's been like a year, but people are, you know, they're still patient and stuff. And that's the only snag I hit out of all the endeavors and everything. So on the one side, you're like, man, I wish that had never happened. But then on the other side, you're like, well, I've come through it, and there's other stuff that's good to stack up against it. So all in all, you know, there's still support there. But man, I've dropped the ball a few times along the way. So learning on the fly, you know.
Yeah, and again, I think that's the hardest part for us content creators is all the hats you have to wear and allocating time for things. So a lot of times, if you're a writer, I'm a writer. A lot of times that gets pushed to the side because of marketing or you know what I mean, or people asking you for crossover or stuff like that, and or editing. Or for you, it's like your other jobs, your other things that you do. So I can see where like writing for me is usually like at the bottom of a list. Well, I'm so far ahead in my script where it's like I don't have to write to keep producing comics right now. So I'm not under the 8 ball, thank goodness. And hopefully, you know, things will slow down, or I'll create time out of nothingness and be able to writing.
You'll get there.
Keep talking about making a clone.
Not a bad idea.
Right.
The problem I have is I'll go and get out in front of everything, or think I am, and then 5 more, like a whole other wave of crap comes along the way. Like, yep, got to take care of this now. You thought you were ahead. No, you're just a little bit less behind. That's what life tells me all the time.
Yeah, and I mean that's how I feel too. It's just you're like, okay, here's my plan for the day. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take lunch. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go pick up my kids. I'm gonna cook dinner. This and then that. And then like 16 things come up, or like people show up out of nowhere, like, hey, can you send me this thing? Or hey, what about this thing? Or hey, did you want to read this thing? And then it's just like it's one sidetrack after the other.
A little stuff adds up. Yeah, you get sidetracked real easy. I'll be looking at, you know, 1 minute have a big old plan for the day and get my stuff going, and an hour later I'm like on some website. I haven't done anything. Yeah, it happens all the time. So, but it's fun. It's worth it. As long as at the end of the day we are productive and getting things done, you know, one way or the other. That's the most important part. So agreed.
Good morning, Facebook user. Whoever you are, we love you. Thank you for tuning in. So this Kickstarter that's running right now, Razor Wire McGuire, is a little different than your other books. Do you want to tell people the premise and then tell us how you're involved in this? Because it's not your typical, you didn't write this, you didn't art it, you didn't, so, you know, first tell us what it is.
Okay, so it's I would consider it like a horror-based like action drama sort of deal, because you've got behind the scenes stuff with the wrestling circuit and the people that manage it and the seediness of it all, and the other wrestlers are involved, and they want their shot, and they want this and they want that, and Razor Wire is this Kurt McGuire. He's this guy that's kind of just ascended to the top really quick, and he's in his past. We'll reveal later on down the road, or probably in this one too. I think I can't remember how Stephen did it, but nevertheless, he suffered with some childhood trauma, like scarring trauma, and it messed up his mind, his psyche. So as he grew up, he became more of a monster than a man, so to speak. And now that he's become this champion and he's adopted and fully embraced this like alter ego ring persona, the lines are becoming blurred. There practically are no more lines anymore between who Kurt McGuire is and who Razor Wire McGuire is. They're basically one and the same. So he's, you know what I mean? You can't tell day from night at this point anymore. He's that killer, that murderous mentality that he's had as a, growing up is now beginning to like unleash itself on the world and
take over.
Yeah. And so, he's moonlighting as a wrestler, but he's also running around and doing all sorts of other heinous stuff behind the scenes.
Now, when an image is gory enough to make me giggle,
that one was good. So Jordan Dorenzo did the artwork. He's a real talented guy. Steven Rios, I think he's done other stuff, but this is his first big like publication, and that's where I came in. Is Steven came to me and he had seen some of the success I had with Kickstarter and just reached out and I decided I took a look at it and I thought it had potential, and I read the whole book and I enjoyed it. It paced really well. It was lettered fine. The artwork's gorgeous. Jordan did an amazing job on the interiors. And but yeah, so I told him I kind of saw myself where Steven was at, the writer and creator of all this. Where I was at like a year and a half or two ago, I guess. It's been that long. I was just kind of like lost. Like, what do I do now? What do I do next? I had a couple of artist buddies that I was selling comic books to. And we were just talking like, yeah, let's make a comic book. And then, after we get some artwork, it's like, oh, now what do we do? And but he didn't really have, and he works 2 jobs and he's always busy. Like, that doesn't have any free time to really dedicate to promoting and learning how to make a Kickstarter page and how to do this and that and every 100 other things that come with all this, Right. So I kind of stepped in and decided that I wanted to help him out, and I don't have to spend any money. And so if I don't make any money, that's okay, because ultimately we want as much of the proceeds to go back towards Steven as we can, so that he can pay the artists to keep the thing moving, because otherwise it'll hit a story going. Yeah, otherwise it'll hit a snag, and we'll have to wait for his money to catch up so he can pay for the artwork. You know how it goes, and or put a Kickstarter out there and hope that it can get funded, and then we can pay the artists and then get the book done, which is not ideal. You'd rather be further along. But however you can get it done, as long as you can get it done. That's the
as long as you can get it done. I'm in that former category as well. Like we go until the funds run out, and then we Kickstarter, and we're kind of on hiatus. But it works out because both my guys work on multiple books. Mm-hmm. So while we're Kickstartering and we're promoting and we're raising funds, they're doing their other stuff, right? Because in my contract, I say like when the Kickstarter funds show up, we're doing path, like you're doing path, right? That's it. We're on a deadline. The deadline is this. So, if you have other stuff, get it done, because when the money shows up, we're running. So, but again, it just depends. It takes us a little longer to turn out a issue, but we always turn them out, and they're always the best version of themselves at that time. So Razorwire McGuire, here, I'm going to put this up again. Yeah. So here's your team. So creator and writer, you said, is Steven Rios. Interior is Jordan Dorenzo, which was beautiful. Colorist Vlad Vov.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's his actual name or it's just, a pseudonym type of deal. I've met him on Instagram. He's a nice guy. We just talked briefly in direct messages, and I had tagged everybody on there. And whenever we first got the campaign launched, and I was reaching out to all of them and letting them know, like, hey, this is going. If you can help share it, by all means, do what you do. And it got voted a project we love. It begs the question to me, though, is that because this is my 10th campaign, and so now I'm wondering if Kickstarter has some kind of like deal of that sort, because just like when you can instantly launch a campaign, multiple campaigns at once after you've done like 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever.
Really?
Carissa told me that. Yeah, I didn't know that. And she was like, you can go nuts, man. I was waiting.
I haven't experienced that. We got Project We Love the first time, and we haven't gotten it since, even though I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't think anybody's figured out the formula of what it takes.
You do crazy numbers too, though. So I was like, well, is it money based? Because then we had like 6 or 7 backers and like a few $100. I was like, we're up to a decent start for what we're trying to get. But I mean, it's not like Kickstarter like wanting like, this is a project we love because it's making $1 million.
Right. I was like, maybe it's that, but it's not.
No, it's something else.
I don't know. I think it has something to do with
cumulative
them
stuff,
looking at the project And if there's just so many projects, there's only so many they can look at.
Right.
So
And if it checks all the boxes off for whatever they're looking for, does it have this appeal? Does it have that appeal? Did they take the time to do this? Did they take the time to do that? Is it making money? Are they successful? Yada, 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 you know?
yeah, I've heard that you can even email them to look at it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, by the time I figured that out, though, it's like, here we are with 6, I think we had like 8 days left. I'm like, is it really worth it to me at this point
Nah.
to email them to get a project we love? So
it's fun. It gives you a little feather in your cap, and it's nice.
Yeah.
The cool little graphic there. It just adds to the depth of the project and gives you something else to kind of promote. But other than that, I didn't really see a whole lot of growth as far as like any kind of organic Kickstarter growth or anything from their links or from putting me at the top of the algorithm if on a list of horror stuff or whatever, you know. So
when y'all figure it out, let me know. It's I mean, every bit helps. Any kind of extra category they put you in helps you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because someone is looking in those categories,
Yeah.
right? And they would come across your project when maybe they wouldn't. There's a ton of stuff on Kickstarter right now, and that's actually one of the issues that we as creators have to overcome is that there's so much stuff. How do you compete with that? How do you stand out from that?
Right.
I also wanted to point out, this is why I brought up the stuff is here you are as producer, but the publisher is also Kingdom Comics. That's you as well, correct?
Right, that's my company.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna publish this one for him. This will be my first publication where I didn't take part in the creative process. I didn't write it, didn't letter it. I did dress the covers though. They gave me the art, and one of them was loose, like lightly dressed, but I wanted to go back and kind of put my own touch on it. And so I dressed them up, and I do a pretty good job. You know, I've taught myself how to do graphic design a long time ago with Photoshop, and nothing's really changed a whole lot in the way of how that's done. So I just picked it back up real easy and over time, you know, and got the hang of it. Same thing with Filmora Go. That one's pretty easy to use if you do video editing. I know you got some bigger, cooler stuff, but like for somebody that's just trying to get going, I pay like $3 a month for it, and I do really cool videos. And the one I didn't get Roseville #2 finished in time to show people on the show today. I'm almost there, but it's really fun. It's really fun learning in that and seeing how it all fits together, because if you change one like effect or transitional thing, it can knock off the whole other thing like a domino effect. You're like, oh my God, I just spent an hour on that. I need that back. And it's it's gone.
Hopefully they have like an undo button. I use the undo button a lot. Like on Apple things, it's like the Apple thing and then Z, like, oh, Z, let's take that out. Because like for my welcome video, I was doing a lot of keying, which is the green screen. And you're always trying to play with the where it starts and where it stops, because it'll bleed into the person and you'll see like a green outline on them, or like look at me, like it's a backdrop, so I'm disappearing at times. So this one, the green screen is just it is art, you know, you can't adjust it. So that's always the tough part with that. And then I was going to see if I could adjust the way that the undead lady looked by just adding a filter to her layer. And it messed everything up. And I was like, oh God, like take that off. Like it was adding all sorts of stuff all over the place. And I was like, so sometimes they just don't go together.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yes, I did the covers though, and then I did, of course, did the Kickstarter page. Those are fun. You know, it's a pretty easy formula for how to make those look nice. You know, and you need pictures and art, even the lettering needs to be like a graphic sometimes, you know, like I was trying to wrap my mind around that when a buddy of mine was giving me tips on all of this stuff a while back, and then I finally kind of started putting the pieces of it together, and you know, give people some good stuff on the rewards and try to be fair, but also don't, you know, overextend yourself, your generosity. Put yourself in a jam when you get funded, because you know. But anyways, so I did that. I did all this one for him, and then we got it going. And I think we're about $350 short, but I've got some,
you're close.
I got some tricks up my sleeve. Like I got some people that, down the road that, you know, if you need like a little extra boost, you know, in the final hour, you know, we'll be okay. So, I'm very confident that it'll be funded. So.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you and I are in that same place where it's like the last leg, and it's like, there's always that 1 or 2 days where it kind of skyrockets towards the end, and I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still at the oh, you got a backer and then one cancels, 2 backers and then one cancels. And then, you know what I mean? So it's the back and forth, which is normal. If you've done a few, you know it's normal. So even though it kind of like grinds your gears, it's like, all right, well, this is where we're at. But you'll get there. I think there's going to be a rush. I don't know if you've ever looked at the Timothy Fling taught me this, where if you look at the dashboard, we'll have like number of people following, and this boggles my mind, Jeff. I don't know about you, but people will continue to hit that notify me button that are not backing. So it's people are like, okay, well, I want to keep my eye on this one. So they get notifications, you know, like, oh, 1 week left, or oh, 2 hours left, or you know what I mean? 24 hours left. So they're getting notifications, but it's like, how many people are sitting there to be notified, and like how many people from that have backed, and what's your conversion rate? So you can actually pretty closely figure out how many more backers you will get based off of that conversion rate. Don't ask me the math. I don't remember, but Tim Fling knows.
Yeah, that guy's a monster, man.
He's full of information. He's great.
He's a plethora.
I
went on the creative cranium. I forgot. I've been meaning to get back with him, and I'm gonna try to do like a little indie creator spotlight. I think I did something for you last week with Carissa and Greg Mokeen from Sierra Nova, and I got a few other people. You know, Richard Dury from and the Association of Charter Guys, and Orphan Bloodline, and several other people. I have too many to think off the top of my head right now, but you know what I mean? I want to kind of like do my part and kind of reciprocate all the love that's been shown to me. And it's not a whole lot, but at least I can say something nice about somebody, and maybe somebody else will.
I mean, that works.
I've learned, you know, like anything anybody can say, if you make a little, you don't have to give me $1. You could have an invaluable post at the right time where somebody sees it, and you know, and then
just word of mouth. Word of mouth is great.
That's everything. Yeah.
Hey, thanks. Love the background.
Your network's grown pretty considerably in the last year or so, hasn't it? Would you say?
What's the what? What's
your
the
network? What? Your network and your support, your fan base. Would you say it's grown pretty good over the last year?
Of course. Yeah. It's been about a year. No, it's been a year since I took over this show. And I've done close to, I think we're at episode 40. We started right around episode 50. So I've done 40 episodes of this. So just building the community by having guests like yourself on and getting to talk to you about your project, you know, getting other people to see what other indie are doing is, I think, really rewarding, because I like, again, pay it forward. I go on 30 plus podcasts every time I run a Kickstarter campaign. So I love to give people that spotlight as well, so others can see, oh, that's really cool. I haven't read a dark wrestling comic before. I'm really into wrestling. Let's check it out. You know what I mean? Or like, for example, like anything. There's Peter Malini's Gordo the Flying Saucer, where it's like all ages. He's a kid who's has the superpowers of a flying saucer. It's just so funny. Lee Newman's Sisson, which again is so funny. And then, of course, the Zombie Bros. We're having a get-together next weekend. Brandon will be there, and we get to talk about all of our zombie stuff. So it's great to build community by promoting, but also just hanging out and getting to know people. So between that and like, the more you do something, obviously, the more audience you're building, and it just takes time.
Yeah, it's just time. Yeah, that's all. That's why I couldn't figure out for the life of me. Like, I'd see stuff, and not to compare anybody to myself to anybody else, but you can't help it. But when you see like a campaign that's doing really well, you know what I mean? And like really well, you know, like 880 backers and $7,000 and like with whatever the heck, you know, and it's like the comic book that just looks like it's not much more, if more than what you think your project could be or is, you know, and it's like hard to figure out like
how did they get there?
What's the key there? And all it is, I guarantee, it's just these people have worked longer or harder, or not necessarily harder, but they've been at it a little longer, and they've built a bigger network, and that network will continue to perpetuate itself and kind of grow as it grows. It'll spread, and it'll be easier to pick up people along the way, you know, like that's how my pressing business worked with it was all word of mouth, and I got a chance to work on a couple of books, like some nice Spider-Man books, and I did a good job. Took the pictures, and then next thing I know, I was like, look at what I can do. And then the person I did it for was like, hey, check out what this guy can do.
Yes.
And it just kind of snowballs, you know. And now I've got every week there's people that'll call, and I've got a lot of repeat customers and people that have come and gone, and the network is all still intact though. And you know, it's nice to see people in the Facebook groups. They'll tag me like whenever somebody's asking for, to this day, like when somebody's asking for cleaning and pressing on the comic book groups, and they'll, you get 4 or 5 people will be like, Joefrey. It's pretty, it's nice. It's rewarding. It's validating. You know, I've worked really hard to get to that position. Still got a long way to go, but you know, now, especially now that I want to be a world famous writer.
Yeah, me too. Working on it.
That's the dream.
Yeah, I mean, we always want to grow and continue to be on our path, and wherever we end up. It's like when I wrote this thing, I wrote it as a full-length movie, never thinking anybody would see it, hear it, read it, nothing. You know what I mean? It was just like I just had to get it out, and then had to figure out what to do with it. So it's like I was on one path and then ended up on a different one.
Right.
Here I am in comics, and never dreamed I would be here. Nothing. So it's like you never know where you're going to end up.
Yeah, got to be open. Be
what's that?
receptive.
I didn't hear you say it again.
I was going to tell you, for Razor Wire McGuire though, so the plan is to do 4 of them. So for anybody that's interested or that's backed the project already, there's supposed to be 4 of them. And we're gonna have to play it by ear and just see how things go. I think number 1 will be very well received. Again, as long as everything's okay with the printing, I'm going to be very particular about that and make sure that it's perfect, you know, as far as I can make it. And I've had to learn along the way, like how Comics Wellspring versus other printing companies, how they do their dimensions, where's their bleed line and trim line and this and that line. Right. And it drives me nuts because I'll think I have it down, and then they're like, "Oh, well, no, that's not it." And, you know, the back and forth with the emails, and it's like I need to call this person and get this squared away because it's driving me nuts. So, but you know, you get some victories and then some losses, and the trick is to try to minimize the damage, you know, and not have anything visibly, like, you know, I want to try to always give a complete and perfect and high quality. High powered product, you know, just like what Marvel and DC are putting out on the shelves. You know, I don't think it's a far cry to say that, you know, that our books are that could be like that, you know. So,
our books, I think sometimes are nicer. Like I've gone to the comic book store, and it's just like all the entire thing is the floppy interior paper, and the cover is not anything different. And I'm just like, why didn't you put anything like this? Is going to get destroyed. I make sure my covers are hefty. You know what I mean? So that way they can withstand, they protect. And then if it get dinged up, I'll send people to Jeff. So there you go.
There you go.
Get them cleaned up. Go send
it. You got every corner covered.
He'll fix those corners. He'll fix that.
That's something I do really appreciate and enjoy is, you know, in spite of damages, that's going to happen, you know, but Comics Wellspring does a really good job shipping, and their product is real nice. And the spines kind of bow a little bit where it makes it kind of wonky. Yeah, you could probably press them, speaking of which, and make them flat, but who's got the time to do that for a couple hundred books or something, you know?
Right.
Just for an aesthetic appeal, or so they'll fit in the short box differently. But nevertheless, man, they always deliver a nice quality product, and I've been pleased with it up until this, you know, up until now. So
I used Comics Wellspring.
Then I use a company called Ready Comics. I tried them out for my metal covers.
Where are they from? Where are they?
Who do you go with now?
My publisher uses a printer.
Comics Wellspring?
My publisher uses a in-house printer, and he's in Arizona.
I think Wellspring is in
use Comics Wellspring? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sort of. It's going in and out.
What the heck?
Is there somebody? Were you talking to somebody on the chat room or something?
No, I'm talking to you.
To me the whole time? No, I heard something about Arizona.
Hey, hi Ryan. The show this weekend was good. Yeah, I was talking about it in the beginning. We went to Arlington, and Marco and I had a blast. There was lots of good stuff at Arlington, and Arlington loves Marco because he's their homeboy. He's from there, so always a good time. We got to see Margene Holden. Both Marco and I did a panel while we were there. It was great. Lots of good stuff. So absolutely. I wanted to play the video. Let's do that. And then hopefully the sound will fix itself. Maybe it'll work.
Oh, for razor wire.
Oh yeah, like this music. Earn it.
That's his thing.
Earn it.
That's his brain. Yes, it does. Rock music always works.
Ding ding. Earn it. I feel like that's a reoccurring thing that happens in that he says, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to find some stuff like that we could use that was kind of that we could use as callbacks and that we could kind of hook everything into here and there. You know what I mean? Like when you're writing, like stuff you can always draw back to, and people can like appreciate it down the road because it's kind of grown into their brains organically. You know, like subconsciously or whatever.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he's something I noticed real early on was that he liked to say that was his whole mentality. Like, we can do this, we can fight, we can whatever, but you're gonna have to earn it. You're gonna have to work for it if you want to come get it from me. You know what I mean?
That's funny. And this one again, this page just gets me because I was like, that's not how you floss, dummy. Like,
yeah, he gets right to work in issue number 1. So there's also the really fun part about this, though. You know, me being from a horror background, you would think I'd just like that's all I really would want. But the drama side of it and the other players that are involved, aside from Kurt McGuire, are really interesting and fun. There's a like a luchador named Wombat that he's fighting early on, and the promoters and the managers right here. This is Debbie, and I forget the gentleman's name that's running the All Out Wrestling circuit, the AOW. But he's the one that's they're conversing there in the beginning, and you get to see a little bit of that right there. But it's a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see what Steven's got planned and where he's wanting to go with it, and then really hoping that we can make the second one happen. So we'll circle back to it. We're gonna since he's already paid for it all. It was all completed and everything.
Wow.
So all I got to do is get it framed and get it where it needs to be so we can print it. And then so even if we didn't get funded on Kickstarter, it'd have been a bummer, but we could still afford to do a small print run and would have. But ideally, we're going for, in a perfect world scenario, we'll get some people to step up and help out, and we can cover all those expenses, and maybe Steven can even get a few dollars back in his pocket, So
yeah. And I say this every show, but I want to reiterate every time, when us as creators are doing a Kickstarter, it is the most important time for us. I've had people say, well, I'll just get it after it prints.
Yeah.
The Kickstarter ensures that we can print it. The Kickstarter ensures that all the artists get paid what they're worth. The Kickstarter ensures there will be another Path of the Pale Rider, another book in Kingdom Comics. Please don't wait until it's printed. If you can come out and support indie comics in the Kickstarter phase, that is the most important time for us to succeed. So come check us out.
For sure.
Look at this. I love it. I was like, dude, with a cowboy hat. Okay, I'll go. I'll back it.
She's a cool chick.
Like,
She's
I don't know. I haven't.
I don't know a lot about her, but she's definitely a hustler, and Debbie, and she's been around the block and knows how the game operates and knows the inner workings of the circuits, and she just kind of grew up into it. I think her father was that one that built the AOW or something. I forget exactly what it was, but she's come back, and I think she's trying to, if I remember right, she's wanting to make an offer to purchase this circuit, or she's wanting to just kind of get involved and kind of do some other stuff. So you can see that maybe she's got some other agendas, behind that she might be wanting to push. And it's just cool. The political, dramatic kind of aspect of it really, really pulled me in. And then it's not just in your face like Michael Myers razor wires running around slashing people all over the place. It's got a lot more going on. And we included we wanted to have a little fun with it. He wanted to do a pinup, like a centerfold piece. So we got Jordan. We commissioned Jordan to do a nice little, like a sexy girl picture of her when she was in her in her younger days. That was a magazine publication for an ammunitions company. So we wanted to do like a little meta fun with it, you know.
America. That's what that ad says to me. America. Yep. Butt out, big hair,
guns and putting the butts out.
Flag and guns.
Barbecue. Should have put some chicken legs on there or something.
Need some brisket. He's got some whole hams here for you.
A couple yams.
Right. Well, I skipped over some of the other pages. I want to slow down and show people this too. So obviously,
the artwork is great.
Great action.
The first page really pulled me in. I had never really knew this before, but and I started paying more attention as I started getting into the creative side of it. But artists that can draw action. For whatever, like really capture like that moment, like when you feel the action and the energy. Those are the ones you want to hold on to. And it looks like Jordan's got a pretty firm understanding of how to do that. You can see like the power bombs and the chokehold, and you see the crowd all around, like it's really fun. It's a really fun way to set the book off, and I hope people enjoy it. I think they will.
Yeah, Donna, I don't think they're saying chicken nuggets in this page. No. Ryan, yes. Oh, for everybody that didn't catch our Western celebration, Ryan and I broke down some of the best Westerns out there on his YouTube channel. Go check it out. Guess it's got a ton of views, which is great. We love Westerns and we had a blast. And we also played a game called Is It a Western, and put some pretty funny things up, and you get to decide. There was some back and forth about some of them. Now I noticed something. No, let me back up. Okay, so what you said about action and why you keep them. So here's the thing. I choreographed fight scenes for a production company before I got into comics. So when I write a fight scene, it's really in depth, like backhand speed punch blocking, where the knife is inserted and and how one of the things that my artist is always telling me, he's like, this is too much. He's like, what are the key moments of this fight that we can show? Because it's static, right? So we can't see all the kicks and punches, but what are the key moments? So that's what I think this artist also excels at, or what are the key moments in this wrestling fight? Yeah. What stands out? And I love the background in this first panel.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Cool. Yeah, Jordan also did cover B. It's the one that's kind of got like a gray background. It's got Razor Wire's face mask, and then it's got the two wrestlers jumping in the middle of the ring there. That one right there, Jordan did that one. Nice. And then cover A is by, I believe, Nathan Lawson. I think this is his name. Sorry, Nathan, if it's not Nathan. I'm almost positive it is. I don't think I've ever spoken with him. I messaged him, but I haven't been able to get in contact with him. But he did a really good job. That was a final hour type of deal, because Stephen and Jordan had cover the cover with the gray one, and they also had Vlad Vav, the guy that we mentioned earlier with doing the colors. He did the virgin cover, the painted cover with Razor Wire holding the razor, like the really cool looking
this one.
Photorealistic one almost. Yeah, that one right there. So they had that one, and then they had the other one that Jordan did, and it was enough to go with, but I was like, man, we need just like one more, like really, really like attention capturing, image that we can use. And then we can, from there, we'll have 3 options. And then we can do like a cool, like a metal or a holographic or
holochrome. Like, you guys are doing a holochrome of this one?
Yeah. Virgin holochrome. Only 25 of them are going to get printed. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So that'll be exciting. And then, you get that stuff on the back end and you can have fun with it later on. And, like, for example, with Roseville, then when number 2 launches, I'll get to bring number 1 back around with it. And I have some exclusive covers. And my buddy Brian at Killer Pill Comics, he commissions an exclusive cover, and they're really nice. And they're expensive though. And we've been able to sell a few of them, but not all of them. So I've got some more of those that I can then put on the Kickstarter and have a little more extra. If you want something, some more bang for your buck, here, grab that. And it's fun to be able to show all that different stuff that you've done and that you're continuing to make and and to see people get excited about it, that's the most rewarding. So
yeah, that's the fun part where people are like, I really am excited.
Yeah.
You know, these are just beautiful.
Yeah, they're great. I'm excited to see how
Creepy,
they turn out.
but beautiful.
Yeah.
Please don't look at me that way. Consequences. Yes, Don. Consequences. Oh my gosh. Jeff.
Consequences.
I made little clips.
Chicken nuggets.
I was wondering where the chicken nuggets was coming from.
It's from my welcome video where I interact with one of the undead characters from a previous because I do the short films, right?
Yeah.
So one of the reporter from the second short film gets run over by a car at the end. So I bring her back. So I'm doing my welcome video where it's like, I'm Laurie Calcaterra. I'm the writer creator of Path of the Pillar. You know, it's like where you're trying to introduce the comic and introduce yourself. But then Ellie crashes the party and just like constantly interrupts and like is just out there, and like her eye pops out partway through it because she's undead.
I think I saw that before. I think I did see that.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. So,
but everybody's now like, whenever I do a show or I'm on someone else's show, they show up and they do this where they're like chicken nuggets. So I decided, I was like, I'll make GIFs. So I made 2 GIFs and I made those clips for my show. So now it's just like when there's something ridiculous.
Chicken nuggets.
Fun times.
So yeah, this one, I guess, what does it say? I think it's less than a week. I think this weekend it'll conclude. And I'm in the process of, the only problem when we were talking about launching multiple campaigns at once and stuff is that you can't help but feel like you're taking away some of the spotlight from one to put it on the other. So you're kind of spreading, you're dividing and conquering, hopefully, but you know what I mean? Where if you could focus on just one, you know what I mean? And you can put everything into that and then move over to the next one. That's kind of like that's my comfort zone, but mostly because I don't want to take away from anybody, from any other project, especially when I'm trying to do somebody else's project and bring it to life. I don't want to kind of, cast any shade on that while it's trying to get going. So, but I'm very confident that it'll be funded, and it's on the way out. And as soon as it's funded and paid up and everything, we can move straight to the printer. I'm just going to need to make sure that the pages are all sized up right and the covers look okay, everything's where it needs to be, and then we'll get it going. So that's exciting, because in the past I had to pay the artists and then letter it and write it and all that stuff on, as it came to me. And I can write stuff really quick though. I kind of freestyle my writing. I know what I want, where I want to go and what I want the characters to say, more or less. But I'll storyboard it out and I'll give it to the artist, like just some stickman storyboards with descriptive narratives, and then he'll give it back to me. And at that point, I'll go on there and I'll just start filling it in, and if it doesn't work, or if I missed something, then I'll go back and do it again. And sometimes I'll have to do that hundreds of times. It's a pain in the butt, but that's part of the process.
Interesting method.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's just like I call it like freestyling. You know what I mean? Just kind of winging it. And sometimes I'll get on a roll and I'll do like 3 or 4 or 5 pages like in a couple hours and be like, yeah, I'm kicking ass now. And then I'll have to go back to it's some stuff in there that wasn't where it needs to be, or I wasn't looking at three panels up and different things like that. You got to kind of you have to compromise in that regard. Then you have to go back and do it again. It's not going to be like one take usually. So yeah.
That's interesting. It's just a back and forth, like a conversation. Like, here's what I think, and then he puts what he thinks, and then you put stuff in. Like, okay, now we need to change this, and that's different than most people do. Like for me, I have a script. It's not even whatchamacallit. It's not even a comic book script. By the way, thank you, Dawn, for coming, and have a good day. Good, and she says, "Good luck, Joefrey."
Thank you, Dawn. Appreciate it. You have a great day too.
Appreciate you too. But I like mine is not even like page 1, panel 1, nothing. I'm like, I leave all that paneling to my comic book guy, because that's what his degree is in. That's what he's, you know what I mean? Like, who am I to be like, this is what you should do? It'd be like, if I'm trying to tell a director how to shoot my movie.
It's very restricting, yeah.
I mean, I might have some ideas, but I think he's much better at making it flow better than I do. And I just make sure the plot points are in there. So that's definitely an interesting way from what I have heard other people doing.
I'm really excited about aside from Roseville is like my favorite of everything I've done so far, and that I'm continuing to do. That's the one I really want to move forward with. And I'm excited though. Aaron has started. He's got the first 6 pages are coming along now, and I think he'll have some stuff ready for me to look at soon. But when I do those boards and stuff, and I write the narratives in it, I kind of like draw out how I would imagine that the panels would look, but it's more or less it's just to take up space and to kind of occupy and so my brain can kind of flow with where I'm wanting to go with it all. And then
Gotcha.
the descriptive narrative will kind of help him figure out how to best do that. And 9 times out of 10, it'll be very similar to what I did, like with the rectangles and the squares. But like you said, I'm not a professional. This is just me like winging it, And so I like them to have all the creative freedom that they need, whoever the artist is. But it's cool to see though, sometimes when it comes back, it's like drastically different, but it works, you know what I mean? Or you can make it work if you're strong enough in your story and your characters and where you're at, you can put it out there and just kind of I like to reshape and be flexible, like with the artist, because it's an artist, it's a 50-50 thing, that's the writer and then the artist. So if you have a real good like kind of symbiotic, like functional relationship with the person you're working with, then you can do a lot more. You know what I mean? You don't get hot-headed with each other. You don't get breathed, you don't get upset or bent out of shape because somebody's being too abrasive or whatever. You're able to get that out there, and everybody benefits as a result of that, I think. So
I agree, and I think people need to strive to have that type of relationship. I have that relationship with both my artist and my colorist. Matt Chambers is coloring issue 1 right now, so Marco DeFio, has been done with the art since last year, but Matt's looking at it with fresh eyes. So him and I are, like looking at the page, and I was like, this. Well, something, it looks good, but there's something off. So him and I we'll have a conversation, like, what is it that we think needs to change? And then like, he'll try something and I'll be like, no. And if you try something different and it's still a no, then we get Marco involved. Like, what should we do here? And other times, Matt's like, oh, I have a great idea. We're going to take the background and we're going to do this. And then it looks great. You know what I mean? So, but there has to be that conversation back and forth where it's like, yeah, that looks great. Maybe try that, this, that, and the other, because the 3 of us all have the intention of making the comic book the best version of itself. So taking out your ego, all of that, you know what I mean? If you do that, that you'll be successful as a team. When you get someone that's like, no, this is what it needs to be, and you're like, we're gonna bump heads. Let's go shopping. Let's go shopping. I backed this.
I've been trying this new kind of quick. It's easier for me to get it out quicker. I don't have to like be as thoughtful with the rewards. I should be more or offer a little more, but like for this one, I wanted to do like a very like base model deal, and then you add to it like the Little Caesars pizza app. You know what I mean? You start with the dough and then just get the cheese and then
butter crust.
Everything's a set price. You just add this, add that, put your order in, and it's ready. That was kind of what my mentality here. And like I was like, I don't want to put too much on somebody, like give them like all these copies of his books and stuff, the same book, and then they have to dedicate space to all that, and they might not even necessarily want it. They want to support me and give me the money, but they don't necessarily need all of the other stuff that comes with it. And some people do though. So it's a fine, a delicate, the way the navigating through that, I should say.
Yeah, and sometimes you're surprised. Like I've put stuff up like, this is a joke, nobody will get this.
Oh,
and then someone gets it, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad you reminded me, because a buddy of mine is Orlando. He stepped up big time. He gave me like I think he donated. It was like a super backer, $500 or something crazy, and it got him like some really cool stuff. Like 3. I'm big on the graded copies. I've got with CGC and stuff. I like doing that, so I offer those, and I can sign them and get the yellow label or get the regular blue label, and people like those a lot. So you get a lot of bang for your buck if you whenever you purchase those kind of level tiers when you get those pieces. But he got
cool.
Part of the $500 was a cameo in issue number 2. So
Oh no, they're
got
gonna
him. I've
floss
got
his
him in there
brain
now.
out.
Yeah. So now I got to put the pressure on Aaron. I'm like, hey, I need you to draw this guy into the comic.
Draw this likeness. Oh yeah, artists
Mhm.
either love it or they hate
Yeah.
it.
I think he's okay. I think I told him about it whenever we were first getting going. Because again, Aaron really stepped up, and I think I had like $500 or $600 to basically cover like 5 or 6 pages of art, and the covers kind of came together in a different way. I'm going to take up too much time with that, but once we started having some stuff, and then he put those 6 out there, and I was hoping to get him more money by then before the campaign ended, but it ended up being that nothing was paid. He didn't mind at all. If he did, he didn't say anything about it, and he's been real nice and gracious, and he's even willing now to see this project through. We don't know where we're going to be after number 2 or whatnot, but he's openly voiced his interest and desire to stay partnered up and try to get this done one way or the other. So I'm real thankful for him. He's all the way on the other side of he's in England, so.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great in this day and age. It's like your artist team could be all over the world.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And you can still coordinate and make just a gorgeous book. That's so cool.
You're in Facebook and on some of those Facebook groups and stuff. Like I Create Comic Books, and there's several others that but Dan Schmidt runs the I Create Comic Book ones. He's awesome. And then there's several others though, but there's a couple in particular where there's just artists just at your beck and call. You know what I mean? And they're colorists, artists, and then all different walks of life, all different places all over the world. And you can just message somebody that I had a guy that was in South America for our. I did a book a while back about a teenage girl, La Paloma was her name, and she goes on to become like a Batman kind of vigilante thing.
Yeah.
It ran its course after like 3 or 4 issues. We just couldn't quite keep the interest up, so we just kind of let it be where it was at. But it was a fun experience, and I got to meet shout out Ricardo Alves. I'm still sure he's still going strong, but man, he's a great interior artist, and he was giving us really nice black and white art for $60 a page. And then I look at some of these other guys, and they're doing it for they're trying to each of them is trying to be more competitive than the other. And you got to be careful when you get involved in that game, because a lot of it is generic or scams or whatever, or somebody might throw up some pictures of something that's really cool, and then who knows, maybe their uncle drew it or something, And
that's happened.
Yeah, I'm sure. So the people will try to get a buck out of you. The marketing, email marketing people, and the promotions people are the ones that drive me crazy, because I have a website, and then the Kickstarter, obviously I'm sure you've dealt with it, your share of it too, but every day there's 2 or 3 people like, hey, would you like some promotions on boosting your such and such, and it's all just never, I don't know, for me personally it's always been garbage.
It's always garbage. I tried one actually did their homework and was talking about my previous campaigns versus my new campaigns, and seemed like they were legit.
That's encouraging.
They had a buy-in level at $25, so very inexpensive. And it was getting access to their email lists. They had super backers on both Indiegogo and on Kickstarter who had backed similar things to mine, and they sent out two massive groups of emails, so 30 on one day and 30 on the other. And guess how many backers I got from that massive email?
1 or 2?
0.
Yeah.
So if it's 0, it's a scam.
Yeah.
Because as we know, there's got to be one person out of that 60 that's like, look at the cool stuff.
Right.
I'm going to get $5. Even if it's $5. But if those are people that are consistently backing good projects, I know my project is good.
Right.
So if all 60 of them look at it, and they're like, no, then something's fundamentally wrong.
Yeah.
More likely, none of those emails are legitimate, and they have created them.
Exactly.
Bots.
It's all just a bot system and everything now. That's what I think. Yeah. Right. Then even if they're giving you half truths, maybe they are sending them to people, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the people that they're saying your demographic, or that they're ever going to get the email. It could be link rot or any kind of other number of things.
It just goes directly into the spam, because that's what it
and
is.
That too, that's what I was going to say. Even if you do that, exactly. It's kind of going to go in their spam folder. So, it's not like they're front and center, like, hey, check out this project, like hitting them in the face with it,
Right. So $25 down the drain. So that was my one and only time trusting a promotional person, and like, do they not realize that we in indie talk to each other? If there was someone who could actually do what they say they can do, we would all be using them.
Yeah. The
right? Because we would be like, oh my God, Jeff, oh my God, I got 200 backers using blah blah blah. Go hire them, and we would all be using them. But no one, I've never had anyone say to me, oh, I've used this promoter and been successful.
Yeah. The closest
that hasn't been lying.
The closest I've heard is have you ever heard of BackerKit?
Yeah, BackerKit, I've heard good things
I think
about.
They're pretty legit. Yeah, I think David Baldy was telling me about them, and he used them, and it sounded good. Like kind of like an automated deal, though, where if you have all your add-ons and stuff in there, they'll go and do all the legwork, and when they've supported the project, they'll go and continue to push stuff in their face and let them know, like, hey, this is available too, or you can save this or save on that, and not like pressuring them, but at the same time, suggestive selling is like, and that's a huge, like, if somebody can take all that load off your shoulders. And you can just, upsell through an automation and through the people that know how to get it to the right place that are legitimate, and that could be helpful. But you have to apply to the BackerKit, I think.
Yes. And they take a percentage.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you can do that, because it's like, for people that aren't familiar with how Kickstarter works, it's like you get your goal. And then Kickstarter takes a %, and then the credit card takes a %, and your shipping is built in there. So once those are done, that's your money left to spend on your artist, your merchandise, and anything else, your print job. Like, all of that comes out of what is left. So it's another percentage on top of that. The more money you make, the more they take.
Right.
Which is the hard part. It's like, can you afford that?
Right. But the yeah, like you said, there's scams and crap. So the more you see it, though, the more you just kind of learn the ropes and figure out where to tread and where to leave alone and not mess with. People can, they'll sell you, they'll try to sell you on anything, and you just got to realize, like, I've kind of had to put it in my mind, like, this is not, it never is going to be anything, so it's just not worth even trying to entertain one person over the other,
Yeah. They and they'll fight over you for sure. My favorite is when I could incite a Fiverr war in the comments.
Nice. I got my logo done from somebody that was, it was a Facebook ad, but I used somebody from Fiverr on that I met on Twitter, and they did a pretty good job. I think it was an Awful Thoughts video, but it was just like, it wasn't, they didn't do anything like different than my video. They just kind of like put my video inside of another video. I couldn't figure out how to do it. And but they did a good job. They did a good enough job. But my logo, I was really pleased with. I got like for like $25. I found somebody on Facebook that had a bunch of like generic, kind of simple but cool, like effective looking logos, and just kind of told them my idea, what I wanted, and they came back with the one I have now, and I love it. So I was really pleased with that.
I have heard people using Fiverr for music, and like video, and that I think people have been successful, because that's a product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's you're purchasing a product.
Right.
It'd be like someone buying a comic book from me. It's a guaranteed thing. But then it's like when you're asking for them to, no one can guarantee that they're gonna get you backers.
Therein right there lies the whole con. Whenever if you really step back and look at it, you're like, well, this is a foolproof thing for them, because all they have to do is say this or say that. They can get screenshots of this and that. That doesn't mean they're doing it, or that doesn't mean that that's going anywhere real or legitimate. I've fallen victim to phone like fraud lately. I've picked up on these new. I had no idea that there are so many scams out there right now for student loan people. If you have student loans, you're susceptible to it. I just dealt with it. I don't know if it was fraud, but when I actually figured it out, the Department of Education told me you should never have to pay for your debt. They said, we'll help you take care of all that, and we only use Advantage. You know what I mean? And so this other company was calling me and trying to set stuff up, and then on top of that, there's a new scam going around where the people will steal data from the cash app or payday loan companies and different people that have taken out like small loans and stuff, and they can't get all of the information, but they can get enough to where they can pose and pretend to be a bill collector, and they can kind of schmooze you and get you all going, and we can get this set up for 3 small payments of yada yada yada, and the next thing you know, you're paying off your outstanding credit card bill, and you're just giving your money to another scammer.
No.
Yeah. So I think that happened to me, and I think also I was the student loan stuff was shady. I'm still in the process of getting a resolution for that, but it's just there's just snakes everywhere.
There are. I mean, anytime that there's a valid way of making money, there's probably 3 times as many ways.
Exactly.
People trying to scam you out of money.
I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, there's just so many cons and hustles compared to somebody trying to do it legit. That's why it's so hard to do it the right way, and to do it the honest way.
What was I gonna say? Oh, now they even have AI that will steal your voice.
Oh yeah.
They call you and they have you say certain words, and then AI can fill in the blanks. So then they call like your grandma, and they use your voice saying, "Hi, grandma, I'm in jail. Can you help me?" You know what I mean? And then they're like, "That's all you can say. Thank you." And then they ask this poor elderly person for bail money to get you out, but it's like you're at home and they have no clue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The really disturbing ones are the ones where they call and they're pretending to be somebody that's hurt or in very bad condition, like got in a car wreck or is in the hospital, and they're using that to leverage you. And that just makes
on your emotions.
My blood boil just thinking about it, And but yeah, I always wondered for the longest time.
Live in.
Oh yeah. When people call you and you hear a little boop, you hear a little boop sound like on your phone, and nobody picks up or says anything on the other end.
Hang up.
It happens quite a bit with the telemarketing companies. I just quit answering altogether, but could never figure out what's going on there. And I think that's what you're talking about. And it's happened for years now. The AI is kind of just now becoming public knowledge and stuff, but that stuff's been happening for a while, I believe. You know what I mean?
It's and developing that's the auto dialer. So there's a machine that's dialing numbers. And if someone picks up and says hello, it connects them to the telemarketer or whoever.
I was wondering if maybe
they're not dialing.
I was wondering if maybe somehow that they were picking up and recording your audio, though. If you answer the phone and you say hello, hello, hello.
Oh, they're all recorded from the moment you pick up.
Like if they're using that though for like AI, you know what I mean? If that was the way to do that somehow. So
I mean, I'm sure if they're
a scammer, AI paranoid now.
AI using anything, everything they can.
Yeah.
Let's go shopping. Let's see what we got here. So level 1 fan club.
Yeah, we made some really cool and some affordable economic stuff. Then that was the main goal, was try to make everything accessible and affordable. Even if you have $2 or $45 or whatever, you can get all of it. So that's where we went with this. And we did the fan club list for the first time. I've seen you guys doing stuff. A lot of people that run Kickstarters, they offer like just donate, just give us $1, or for $2, we'll put your name in the book and the thank you note and that. So I kind of just took the thank you list and turned it into like this Razor Wire McGuire fan club list. So we'll do some cool little graphics on the page and then put everybody's name on there. That'll be fun for $2.
Man, digital copy $4.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
And then you get,
people just want to give it a try. $4. You got 12 people there. That's great. Digital copy plus fan club is $6. So that's you can be in the get the digital and see your name in the book.
Pretty cool for $6. I thought that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that's a great deal. Level 4 is cover A plus level 3. So you get the digital copy, the fan club list, and a physical copy for $12. That's great.
$5 shipping. So
yeah, this one.
That's what I need to figure all that out eventually. If and when I start doing more add-ons and business and volume and Kickstarters beyond what I'm doing now, how to get the shipping fees and all that adjusted and fair for everybody on the add-on stuff. Because right now I just kind of like, I think for this one I said, just if you get an add-on item, it's free. Go for it. The shipping is free. I mean,
certain ones I don't charge anything either. It's like if it's like a poker card or something, it's like that doesn't cost me anything extra. It's hard when it's an item that you don't have yet. Because like, let's say I unlock my enamel pins. I've never done enamel pins before, and it doesn't say how much they weigh, so I don't know. You just kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I feel you. Shipping is always the hardest thing. And especially with like international or like sometimes I will ship to Canada. I don't have it listed on my Kickstarter because I always want a custom no, like I want to know what the shipping is before I send it, because
Right.
it
Yeah.
can
I'm the
be
same
so
way.
expensive,
Mhm.
right? I don't want to charge you $45 for shipping and it's 25.
Yeah.
That's not fair to you either. So
Right.
it's like whatever you back, if you are like I had a few Canadian backers in the digital tier, because of course digital goes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sent them a message. I was like, I will ship to Canada, but depending on what you want to get physically, let me know and I can weigh it. So that way I'm not overcharging or undercharging, just to make sure that it's correct. So sometimes they take it, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
So $12 seems to be your price point here for it covers A, B, and D.
A and B. That's the two main ones. And then C is C is the painted version. It's a little more expensive. It's $15, I believe. And then D is the holochrome. It's the virgin cover for A, that virgin A cover, and it'll be holochrome, 12 point cardstock. Really cool. The first ones I got were for Awful Thoughts, and I really enjoyed them. They're really neat, and people seem to like them. I even signed a few, and they'll be coming back from CGC soon, so we'll get to see those with the cases on them. They'll look really cool, I think. So, yeah, we offer those. We got, I don't know how many of those have been sold. I had a few in the add-ons, and then I had a few for the tier side, so that there were 25 copies dispersed. And ideally, I'd have more, so that way I can account for damages. But I think we'll be fine. So,
I don't see cover C available by itself.
The painted one right there?
Yeah.
Really?
It goes A, B, and then D.
I must have missed it. Dang it.
6 days before.
Yeah,
Great.
Rookie mistake. I could have sworn I had it on there. Maybe I guess I just have it offered with the with like an all-inclusive, like the big.
I saw it there. Yeah. Here you have A, B, and C.
Well, look,
which is a steal.
I'm turning that one into the super limited edition.
Wow. And then all 4 covers for $45. That's amazing.
Pretty good deal.
Yeah. Level 11, the heavyweight bundle.
Yeah, I do that on there to get some. See if one of my big dog buddies could show up, and put that heavyweight belt on.
Yeah, you got 2 of them.
Yeah.
This ultimate collector's bundle for your heavyweights out there. Get 3 9.8 graded copies, cover A, B, and C, plus 3 regular copies to read and keep raw. In other words, 3 that you put on the shelf and you don't open, and 3 that you can open and read and smell and goober on, and it won't do anything. This is awesome. Also receives perks of level 3 and all unlocked stretch goals. Cool.
Yep. It'd be great if you get some stretch goals unlocked and stuff, and people know that your campaigns are going to do well, and I would assume that they're probably more inclined to hop on at that point too, because you can benefit from those perks, from those stretch goals. If people can get them, and you guys do. Do you do it where like you hit a certain, you kind of rotate, right? Like where you hit, like if I hit 80 backers today or 100 backers today, and then or it can go if I hit $2,500 or $3,500.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, I do both. The backer number, we're building a poker deck. So every 50 backers, we unlock poker cards. And then dollar amounts, I usually do like every 500. So our goal is 45.50. Our first unlocked dollar amount is blah blah 5,000, I believe. I'm looking at your page like it's going to answer my question.
Where is it? I just saw it on there.
Right? So then we unlock like the PDF bundle, and then we unlocked koozies, and then the next one will be the slice and dice. So I do stuff that not only physical backers get, but I'll do stuff that like the digital backers will get stuff, and then we'll do like an experience, and then there's more merch. So I spread it out so that way it's
I'll tell you what,
every so many steps.
The digital vault that you've accumulated, I think Richard has a pretty big one too now, but like having like people be able to get access to like 15 or 16 books, like whether
Christie has 20.
Maybe it was okay. Yeah, I guess all you guys have quite a few now, but I saw one. It was either you or her the other day. I was like, good Lord.
I know. I have 15. Richard has a ton. I didn't count his, but yeah, that one I love too, because again, the digital backers can get that. And so everybody gets not only my comic, but an additional 15 comics where they can be like, that one looks really interesting. They don't have to read them all if they don't want to, but they can. You know what I mean? And they might find something that's really awesome. Pops is in the chat, and he says, first of all, he says, good looking project. And he says the Roku has 37 PDFs available, which is amazing. So there's lots of, I think that's the biggest one to date. It's bigger than Carissa's 20, which is, she usually sets the record. So, yep. I love how but I know you said like, oh, there's not a ton on here, but that's usually great because I've seen campaigns that have like 37 tiers and 120
It's
add-ons.
too
And
much
it's like,
sometimes. You're just like, I don't care about any of this now. Like I
either
wanted
you
to.
don't care or it's like decision fatigue. Like, I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend 15 hours looking at it to figure it out. So then they're like,
most importantly, people got stuff going on. If I'm asking them to go to a website and log in and pay and do this and that with their credit cards, like I want them to be able to get through it in a clean quick process and enjoyable, not some painstaking, laborious deal.
Right. People's attention spans are about this big nowadays.
The what?
I said people's attention spans are like this big.
Yeah, that's the big thing too. Yeah, they're non-existent anymore.
Right. That's where we are.
I saw I don't remember how much the time was, but it would blow your mind. I did see a statistic the other day where they showed what the average time is now compared to like what it was 10 years ago or something. And even back then it was still only like I think 7 or 8 seconds. I think now somebody's attention span averages like under 4 seconds or 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
That's
what, if you watch commercials, you'll see what I'm talking about. They will change the shot.
I'm going to have to watch
the camera every 3 seconds because that's all people, it's like anything longer than 3 seconds. It's like, this is boring, click, and they change the channel. So, that's different than watching like a movie where you can stay on a shot for longer and as things develop. But if they're trying to like get in and get out, it's like 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds, and we're done.
Blame that good old television for that, man.
Yep.
But anyways, so, razor wire. Again, we're excited to see where it can go and what people think. I've got a couple of LCSs out here that will carry it, and more importantly, that have this for the first time. They've actually helped me by backing the project rather than picking up copies at wholesale. What I get them for on it, because it was really exciting when you first get started to like see the books, to have the idea of like your books being sold in the shops and stuff like that. But as a creator, as well as I do, that there's not any money in that, so to speak.
No, there's really very little money.
Yeah.
And it's great that, like you said, you're like, I'm in all these stores.
Yeah.
But it's like that costs
it doesn't translate to the way you would expect or want, though. But the cool thing about it is, though, you do get to be out there and you get to have people can see your books and they're competitively up next to the biggest titles in the world, and it's really fun and neat. But I was hoping to get some of these guys to kind of chip in with me so they could pre-order copies. I can get the funding help I need, and then they'll get their copies already paid for at my cost, and so everybody's happy that way. I felt like that was kind of a better trade-off for me. And fortunately, a couple of guys stepped up and did that this time. So it'll be exciting to have those on the shelf as soon as I get them. It'll be nice and nothing really holding that one up, and it can just be out there and they can have their stuff and it'd be cool. It's just the next ring in the ladder, So.
Yeah. I have some retail tiers. I've sold one. Usually I have them and everybody ignores them, but that's cool. So like what I do is, and LCS owners are so dang busy. Where I'm just like, if you want to carry Path of the Pale Rider, contact me. I can custom make a reward for your store. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times I'll do like 5 of each book and like variants of the last one or variants or whatever. And if they're like, I just want 8 covers, cool. If you just want, 5 of issue 1 and then 3 of all the other issues, that's fine too. Just let me know and I can custom make for you. And then someone, it was actually Charles Boyer from Geek Out, who's an LCS, came up with this idea of pitch postcards. So I have these postcards, are just 4x6, and it's art on one side, and on the back there's my pitch, my elevator pitch, and there's a QR code where people can read issue 1 or part of whatever for free.
Yeah.
And that way, if they're on the fence, at least they can take a gander. And the manager, the owner, especially if they have a staff, they are not going to memorize my elevator pitch. Right. And so it's much easier for me to put my words on a paper and let me do it for you. So I'll give them a stack of pitch postcards to go along with the books that they get. So it makes it easier for them to go. If they get a higher level, I'll even throw in like 11 by 17s. And I was like, and have a t-shirt for yourself.
Right.
So
a t-shirt.
We'll see.
The have you? I was bringing you to my next question about indie and stuff in general. Have you? I'm doing I believe it's an indie con. It's like just for indie. It's an indie creator con. And have you ever done one of those before? Or anything like that?
No, I have not.
Do you know Joe Solis, right? No, he's okay. He's a new creator that they just did their first Kickstarter. It's like they do for a younger audience, well a wider audience. They're not in. They don't. I don't think they do a lot of like the cussing and the violence and stuff like that. It's more Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan kind of, you know. And I'm really good. The colors pop real bright, and I backed their project. They got an artist out there in Austin that does a lot like that, draws a lot like Scotty Young, and he had a really neat cover for one of their variants. And so I picked that one up. And but Joe's from Houston out here, and he put me onto this circuit. And it's only $60 for a table. It's going to be in December, I believe. And it's supposed to be just all indie stuff. And so the really cool part about it is not only do you get to meet other indie creators that are out there doing the same thing as you, the people that are coming to this they're very targeted in that way. They want to meet indie creators and support their stuff. So that'll be. I'm really looking forward to that one. Hopefully,
is it in Houston?
Yeah. I'll get you a link and see if shoot it over and so you can see what you think. I don't know much about it being on that. So, what'd you say?
So it's a little bit of a hike for me.
Yeah. You're a little far.
But I'll take a look at it. I never know. Like
you never know, and maybe
Lacey Kruger wants to go. She and I can do some cons together. And share the cost of a hotel room.
Yeah, those guys. They might do other stuff. That's what I was thinking. Is maybe there's other people that specialize in this sort of thing, and I'll see how it goes. And I'll report back. But I was going to say too, traveling, man. Like Timothy, Mr. Fling, he does cons all the time, and he's like a traveling band, and you got to pay for like I was trying to weigh all that when I did the Houston Horror Film Festival back in August, and like a lot of people were coming in from out of town, and they're sitting at a table and like peddling stuff, and they're making money, but like you got to pay for your food, your gas, your hotel room, any extracurricular stuff you want to do, any place you want to go. And before you know it, like, I feel like you're like in the red, trying to get just to break even to get home, and not to say that that's always the case, but man, that would be that's a tough grind, you need a little crew to travel with you or something,
Yeah. Well, I mean, or you can run it through business and it's a tax write-off. But I feel you. People are like, you going to New York Comic-Con? I was like, are you insane?
Yeah.
I was like, do you know how much that table costs? Do you know how much that hotel room costs? Do you know, like all of the stuff that goes along with the logistics of getting your books there and setting up a table. And it's crazy. It's crazy. So, and it's like, and I have like, they were asking me, and I was like, I have 2 books. 2 books. Do you know how many books I need to sell in order to make my table back and all my money back? I'm like, that's insane. So it's like you kind of have to stay local, where you can drive for the day and not have a hotel room.
Right.
Or the other way I tackle that is if I'm not doing local cons, I will reach out to local comic book stores. I love going to Pastime Comics. I can set up there and make as much as I make at a con in a day. Because the people there they're comic book people, right? They're coming into a comic book store, and they're the kind of people that, again, like you said, are targeted to support indie comics. So a lot of times people are like, what do you got? Tell me what you got. And I'm just like, I tell them my thing, and then they decide. But I always do well when I'm at Pastime. I always do well when I'm at Geek Out. So that's kind of like where you can fill in the blanks and just do like a one day, set up a table and sell to the people that come through the door, but they're still targeted audience because they're coming into a comic book store.
Yep.
You're not doing a con that's like, oh, it's all baseball cards.
Right.
And there's you.
Yeah. That's how it sort of was at the horror festival. But then again, you've got vendors that are doing this. Like there was a guy across the way that was selling horror hot sauce. And he was giving out free samples and these different themed bottles, and they were different levels, varying degrees of heat. And but yeah, he was having a good old time. He's mostly giving out samples. It looked like, I can't imagine
Oh,
how many
Lord.
bottles
But,
of
I
hot
mean,
sauce
we're
you'd
in
have to sell to make,
Texas.
to cover your the table was $280, I think,
Oh,
for mine at
Lord.
least. And for 3 days, and I made I made some money. Not a whole lot of profit, but enough to where I considered it a success.
Yeah.
But also because I got the people I got to meet and the experience. So it was a lot of fun. But like you said though, being at the horror festival, you're like, oh yeah, sure, people love horror comic books and they like horror. They'll come get my book, right? Oh man, no, there's moments where you're just like, damn man, there's nobody care about comic books anymore. But then that one person comes up to your table and they want to buy one of every copy, and you're like, all right, cool. I just made everything back, and I have no reason to be mad. Or not, you can't get bent out of shape. You got to kind of just know that you've got something cool, and hopefully other people will agree with you. And
it's just a matter of people finding you, and that's
got to be visible. Got to be accessible.
Yeah, and so that's exactly, those are the 3 methods that I do. I will Kickstarter, and of course I will promote on social media. I will do local cons where I don't have to travel that far and don't have a big overhead, and I will do reach out to LCSs in my area, set up tables, introduce myself as a local writer, and that's where to start. In my opinion, that's where to go. Eventually, when you build up a big enough repertoire or enough books, then you can do like the New Yorks and the Vegases, and then the like. If you don't have enough to fill a table, don't kill yourself trying to do those.
Right.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, but we have the one down here at Comic Palooza, and it's gigantic, and I know it's really expensive to get a table if you can even get one.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Comic Palooza.
Yeah.
There's people up here that will go down specifically for that one. I think Sam Vera said Comics Palooza. Him and I went through a list of local cons that he was interested in doing, and I wrote them all down because I'm always like, where are you going? Because he's been in the scene for a while, so I'm like, if Sam Vera's going, it's got to be a good show.
Nice. Yeah, they do really well. It's cons in general have kind of changed over the years. I've never actually been to like a huge massive comic convention, surprisingly. I'd love to go one day, but I've heard it's more, and I've seen them. I've done some smaller ones, like flea market places, and like parking lot type of deals where there's multiple people set up, but never like a big massive convention center like I did at the horror festival. And the Comic Palooza, they use George R. Brown, and it's one of our biggest places out here downtown, and it's massive. And I'd imagine they probably have a pretty good time there. And there's always big name celebrities. It's kind of like a baby San Diego or New York, I would imagine.
Cool.
So
yeah, that's I think what Dallas Fan Expo is.
That's probably comparable to that, I would imagine.
Yeah. I didn't get to go this year. Marco went. I was standing up in my brother's wedding. I think he would be upset if I'm like, can't come to your wedding, gotta go to a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Be like, out of the family.
you made the right choice.
I think so. But Marco sold a ton of books. He sold out everything I sent him.
Nice.
Was gone. So I was like, oh, man, I should have sent him double.
I know, just to put into perspective how much volume those places do. I used to work when I first got back into comic books back in the end of 2018. I got a job at the Dragon's Lair, and they're real big in Austin, and I think that's where they're based at. But you can, we have one in Houston, and Rob's a great guy. He runs it out here, and gave me a job, and I got back into comics then. Oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought.
How much you were going to talk about how the volume.
Oh yeah. So when I was working there when they did one, and they were asking people to come volunteer and different things like that. And I stayed behind to help maintain the store. And they had a whole crew though, like half of our staff loaded up. I think it was 1/3 of the store just took it out and moved it into a U-Haul and took it out there. So basically for the weekend, you can have the equivalent of like a second store basically. And came back with very little, did a really good, sold a lot of it. There's board games and dice and, minis and comics galore. And they're just, it's crazy how much volume, how much stuff you can sell, to a place like that. So yeah, the potential at least. So.
There's potential. There's definitely potential. And you know, it just depends on the con, and it depends on the weather. It depends
Yeah.
on what's going on in the area. If you're competing against a big social thing like
Hmm.
Cowtown, Cowtown this year was a little bit slower. It still did fabulous. I had a blast. I made my table money and more. And but we were competing against the Texas State Fair. It was the same weekend and in the same area. So people were complaining, but I was just like, I've made my table. If you haven't,
Yeah.
then get to work. Like
Right.
they're
Get that back.
here.
You know, if you feel like pessimistic or it's not going the way you plan, just focus. You know, that's what I would tell somebody. Just focus on that. Have a good time. Try to individualize somebody's experience and make them feel as if like you do feel like you care about their interests and wanting to make them give them something they'll enjoy. You're not just trying to like pawn something off on them, you know.
No, talk to them about
And
things.
man,
Ask
people
them
will
what
throw
they
you
like
10, 20,
and
30 bucks or whatever, you know, it's no big deal. And before you know it, like you said, you've got your table back and you can kind of cut it at that and be like, hey, it was, you know, it didn't work out the way I wanted on the profit side, but I got all this other invaluable experience and
right. Or
stuff,
go meet other people at
Right.
the con. Like go
Right.
meet the other artists. Like I'm
Yeah.
always shopping artists because I do variant covers. So I'm like, all
Mhm.
right, who's a potential variant cover artist for me? Who are the other writers that we can talk about Kickstarter method?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Who's in our area where we can cross promote? So you always got to have something in mind if you're not busy, but just remember that even though it's not busy, the people that are coming through the door, the people that are there for a reason,
Mhm.
you know, don't just sit
Mhm.
there and mope. Be like, hi,
Right.
comics.
Yeah.
Get off your butt. Hand them something to look at.
I got to be when I was at the horror show. On one side of me was I didn't know this was a thing. I guess I should have. There's kinks and stuff for everything now, but it's like a horror erotic literature, horror erotica. You know, it's
Really?
like the love story. You know, basically adult entertainment books that
Yeah, but
women
with
are
horror
not
in it,
known
like they're
to
trying to
enjoy.
survive together, or
So it's like I don't know. I didn't delve
you're
off
like,
into
I
it.
did not read it.
No, but it was just it kind of gave me that vibe like what's the Twilight with triple X behind it or something. But they not like over the top like pornographic stuff, but you know what I mean, like horror erotic literature. I had no idea, you know. And they also have a very popular podcast. I forget what it was called, like the Sex and Horror podcast or something. But it was just really interesting, and the women that were there that were selling their books and stuff, they were real fascinating. They were dressed up real cool, and you get to interact with these people. And on the other side of me was a group of guys from Missouri called the Janus Clique, and they are a independent film guys. They do like the trauma type of stuff, just real grainy, low budget,
Found
just
footage.
real underground, like roughly edited but cool looking stuff, and just really out there with their ideas. And they were real animated. There's a little crew of them, and they were they were a lot of fun. I got to meet another one of their buddies that's out here. He's a director. He does his own thing. His name's Wig Wolf, and he just did an adaptation of the Wizard of Oz, and it's just like the most bizarre thing you could see. Like I haven't watched it yet, but the trailer is just like, what is this guy doing with his life? He's out there, but he was the nicest guy, and we hit it off real quick. And had a good time, you know, just meeting those people and being around there and watching all the people walk by with all their uniforms and costumes and stuff.
Cosplay.
And they had some paid actresses and actors for from some of the theme parks that are around there, like Scream World and some of the like I don't remember what they're called now, but like the Ninth Floor and different like cool, you know, like those kind of places. And they came out and they were like professional paid
like the
actors.
big scary ones, right?
Yeah, and they would have the full attire on, and they were in character, and like you know, like you're like at a Renaissance festival or something, like where people, you know, are really locked in, you know. And they were fun too, because they'd walk around and just mess with people, you know, honk a horn behind them or let out a good like blood curdling screech or something. And so there was, and the children were the best, man. The kids, like they've got the parents and the horror community. What I love about them the most is that we're just the horror community. You can kind of be yourself, you know, and it's just horror. It's fun, you know, and people can kind of let their guard down with that. But whenever you're in the horror community, like you indoctrinate the kids early too, you know.
Sorry, kids.
Laurie.
Laurie.
Yeah, seeing all those kiddos dressed up was a lot of fun. They were out there, and most of them weren't even scared. Like Michael Myers would be walking up to them with like a knife and something. They'd be like, "Hey, how's it going?" You
They're
know?
like, cool. I have a life like that. Like,
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun though.
I have to remind my kids sometimes that not everybody can handle zombie stories because my little one, she's in first grade and we're walking to school with the neighbor kids. And she was like, my mom writes this comic book with undead bears who like destroys this and eats that and blah, blah. And I'm like, Lila. And she was like, what? I was like, not everybody needs to know about the zombies. She was like, it's cool. And I'm like, thank you. However, I don't want to
Right.
get phone calls from parents about their kids having nightmares because even though that's normal in our house, it's not normal everywhere else. Okay. And so the dad was like, what are they talking about? I'm like, I write comics. Like, with zombies in it. And he was like, oh, cool. He's like, nah, that kid will be fine. He's fine.
It'll be all right. That's
So,
funny.
but it's, yeah, us in the horror genre, our kids are like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, don't mind this. It's just an eyeball popping out. Like,
Yeah, don't mind that. That's
sup,
how I was
Quentin,
when I
how
was
are
growing
ya?
up. Man, my dad didn't really seem to mind much when I was when I was like 13 or so, and we were going to see like Terminator 2 and Alien 3 and you know, really cool movies, you know, that you know, probably weren't supposed to be seeing, but you know, it's fun. So
my favorite was my dad was like, if you want to play Doom on the computer.
yeah, Doom was great when it came out.
He was like, you have to type this command because it was DOS, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you have to type this command in and then it'll take you. So he gave me the secret code so I could like play Doom when my parents were like out doing stuff and we were home just, you know, as kids.
Nice.
So my brother and I would play Doom and then we would play like, oh my God, what was that one called?
Wolfenstein was the Predator progenitor before that one, and then they had Quake, and we're talking about like the first person game.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Leisure Suit Larry was a good one. There's floppy disks.
Yeah, we played this other one though that was called like the 13th Guest, and that
was a fun one. Yeah, there was another one that was really cool called Phantasmagoria. Yeah, as kids playing those. Oh yeah.
No, it was it was a dinner party that people went to. And people kept disappearing, but there was like children. You would hear the children's voices in the walls.
Yeah.
And that game would mess with you. You had to like crawl into a maze and like things would jump at you. And then we were kids too. So we were like, okay, we're done playing this game. Like we're all going to have nightmares.
Yeah. I had my threshold growing up too. Like two of the movies in particular, they're both Stephen King movies.
Yes.
I couldn't.
Pet Sematary.
I had trouble with Pet Sematary. To this day, I still do. That's one of the creepiest movies. Like, you know,
the original one though, right? Not the remake.
Yeah, it's just absolutely horrifying. Like I can't even like get through it. And spiders creep me out too. So arachnophobia I struggle with. They're doing a remake. They're doing a reboot. Oh yeah, you're a spider fan, aren't you?
I hate spiders. It says, I thought I saw a spider, but it was a piece of yarn. It's dead yarn now.
Oh, man. That's the arrangement I have with the spiders. As I've kind of grown and matured over the last couple of years and had like less anger and resentment and stuff, I've kind of gotten more involved with like nature and flowers and bugs and stuff, right? So like I try to not kill anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Used to, I would just run around and smash crap, like get out of here and smash it. So I'll try to let it make it. But if a bug is in my house, it's fair game.
It's fair game. That's me too. If I see it outside, I just run away.
Yeah.
If it's in my house, you're dead. You're dead meat, dude. Yeah, but I think that's the fun thing about being a horror writer is that things that terrify us end up in our stories.
Yeah.
Terrified of bears, and bugs. So I'm sorry, everybody.
Got a lot of bugs in there. Nice.
I had a post where I was like, did you know that a swarm of locusts has like this many bugs in it? And did you know that the way that you die from that swarm of bugs is by suffocation?
God, that's brutal.
Thank you. I'm glad you like my shirt, Quentin.
Is he still in here? Okay, what's up, Quentin? I didn't get to say that. I saw you say hello earlier. I was rambling.
We're good. Before we finish. Wow, we got 15 minutes. That's it. All right. So stretch goals. We were talking about some stretch goals, but let's lay it out. What are people going to get when we start breaking some stretch goals?
Well, it's kind of weird. The original funding goal was $1,500, and I think at the last minute I said, you know what, let's do $2,000. We'll see if we can get that. And so the original stretch goal was for $2,000. So technically, that's the funding goal. So it's kind of like a stretch goal / funding goal reward. If we can get to $2,000, if we get to $2,000,
Yeah.
everybody will get a free digital
Really cool.
copy of Roseville and #1 and Awful Thoughts, the anthology, for free. Well, along with their Razor Wire McGuire stuff.
Cool.
then
Oh,
if
they're
we-
in for a treat.
Mhm.
Those are so good.
And then if we can hit, I think it's 2,500, and that's probably not going to happen. But if it did, I just kind of winged it. Something I do want to do if we go to a second, when we get to a second issue, like another cool piece of little meta merch or like fun swag, would be to have like some kind of, obviously fake blood, but like a bloody ticket stump or something that would have kind of like these connections to like a wrestling event, you know,
Yeah.
and like people can get these in the tier. And if they hold on to it, maybe it actually has a raffle number on it or something, you know? So not only do you get to have this cool little piece that we've like kind of dressed up and made look like it was like dropped at a crime scene of a wrestling auditorium or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
like there's this big brutal bloodbath and like your tickets are flying everywhere and clothes and blood and whatever. And so you pick up this, you know, this little ticket here. And but so maybe that could have something that could play out down the road. That would be a lot of fun, that somebody just thought it was a little ticket and now it's got like a number though, and you can win something with it, you know, who knows? But I want to try to do some different stuff like that. I admire what you've been able to accomplish with your video stuff, and just always trying to engage with the your support network.
Yeah,
I think that speaks volumes about your hustle and your
I
grind.
was like, you're speaking my language. Meta merch. Oh, I love it. That's so cool. Bloody ticket stub. I want one.
Yeah, that would be fun.
McGuire limited edition t-shirt. You're going to give away t-shirts?
I was, yeah, if I could find them. I was just give you a basic one. You know, you can get t-shirts done nowadays for not too much, but not.
Are you kidding?
Yet either, but yeah, I think I got a guy out here that can do it for like $3 or $4 a piece or something.
What?
So I figured
I found them are $15 a pop.
Yeah, these are the ones I'm talking about are probably super like cheap, like, you know. But you just gotta kind of try it out and shop around and see who's got what you like, you know. And then and eventually you find it. And but yeah, that was just a plan. That was kind of a far cry. That I think that was like $4,000 or something. I didn't think we were going to get there, but if we do, sure, I'll give everybody that backed the project a t-shirt on the physical level.
Oh my gosh, I'm laughing, Quentin. If I see a bug that falls in a toilet, I say, care for a little swim in the sewer? I flush it down and say your prayers, little bug.
He's done for.
Goodbye, Buggy. That's me.
That's always been a fear of mine, and I thought about doing an Awful Thoughts story for it, where a guy goes and watching a ball game one night and eating. And he goes in his restrooms, dog's in the other room, and the restroom is in the toilet. It's kind of, there's something down in the toilet, you know? Have you ever seen like snakes and stuff actually come out of the toilet?
Or like rats. Rats come out of the sewer.
Yeah, man. Ugh.
Gross. No, thank you. Hey, everybody, here is the link. You can go check out Razor Wire McGuire. Come show some love.
Yeah, I would appreciate it.
Get it funded. I would like my book, please. And now is the time where we hold on. There we go. Push the button.
Keep it coming up. Keep it coming up. Don't stop it now. Don't stop it. No, don't stop it now. Don't stop it. Keep it coming up. Keep it coming up. Don't stop it now. Don't stop it. No, don't stop it now. Don't stop it.
Hey.
Awesome. Thank
Call
you.
to action. Go check it out. Pick a pledge. Show some love.
And then we'll have
$2. Every little bit helps. Come help us, indie creators, bring these to life. Then you don't have to read the same stinking story again and again and again and again.
Right.
Oh, this one's gorgeous.
Yeah, that guy's good, man. I looked at some of his other stuff on Instagram, and it's kind of more anime manga kind of style or themed, like very bright colors. And yeah, it was very different from what he did on that one. So I was very impressed to see that. It looks like he's diverse in his abilities to illustrate.
That's cool. Yeah, I was gonna say usually photorealism and manga style don't usually go hand in hand.
Yeah, there's only one guy that kind of can do it, Simone DeMeo.
He can do everything.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he'll actually talk to you on Instagram. When I first got back into comic books, I reached out and messaged him, and I was really surprised that he responded back. And I was like, "Oh, cool!" And that was pretty neat. Mark Brooks did too, the artist that he does some really cool painted stuff, and he's awesome.
That's cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you could have any one artist do a cover for, let's say, Awful Thoughts.
Man, probably John Jang, because he's just the way he draws stuff and the way the horror stuff, especially the stuff he's done for Something Is Killing the Children, and the way he does the creatures and stuff. Him or Kyle Hotz. I like Kyle Hotz stuff too. But there's so many, man. It's just hard to pick. I'm starting to get into the Marvel Young Guns a little more, like Carmen Canero and obviously you got Humberto Ramos and Art Adams and all those legendary guys that have been around there, and they're still kind of working with those the younger crew. And I can't think of any more off the top of my head, but yeah, there's just so many. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Hotz or Jang. And
Cool.
I know they're a little pricey though, so
Yeah, gotta save up for them.
Yeah.
And speaking of Awful Thoughts and your other projects, tell the people what is coming next, because I know you said there's other stuff that you do, and you don't want to kind of step on the toes of Razor Wire McGuire. So it sounds to me like you're ready to do the next thing.
Yeah. So
when's it coming?
There's a couple that'll happen. I'm still waiting. It should be any day now that I get the final colored pages for End of Man, which is my sci-fi book.
Yes, that one.
It's set in North Texas. A girl stumbles across a meteorite and her life is drastically altered. And set to be 3 issues. We'll see how the first one goes. And I'm very anxious to get it out. I know other people are. Some people have completely just said, "It's okay. Just get it when you get it." And other people are still just hanging on. They're wanting, I'm really excited to see this.
Yeah.
And this, and including the LCF that helps me out a lot out here. And so that one's, as soon as I get the final colored pages for that, I can immediately start lettering it and get it rocking and rolling. So before you know it, that one will be kind of nearing completion about the same time that Roseville #2 has launched on Kickstarter and gotten into the thick of things on there. So Roseville 2 will be the next Kickstarter project, and I'm planning to have it released on October 30th.
That's right around the corner.
Yeah. So then about 2 or 3 more weeks. So again, it's real tight on the timing. But I don't want to feel pressured to get it going, but I'm really excited to do it. And like seeing how you guys can kind of build on once you have one issue and you can kind of it doesn't have to be. When I first started, I would just be like, this is going to be such and such #2. I didn't stop to think that I could actively push #1 to a new. I kept thinking like, oh well, these people have already read #1. They don't want #1. No, you're trying to get into a new market. You know what I mean? And so I've seen how you guys do with that, and it's really cool, and it plays to the benefit of the consumer and the fan and the buyer as well, because they're getting more bangs. They don't have to be limited by just catch up or anything, or only get this in digital and etc. So
spot on. That's perfect timing for like pre-Halloween.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. Yeah,
right.
I did that last year with Awful Thoughts, and it turned out pretty well. It was little bit delayed on the printing time, but I had a thematic cover though. It was a Halloween cover. It was like these 3 pumpkins in the front of this creepy house with like a big claw mark on it, and Tom did a really good job on that one, and it was fun. So I love Halloween time and getting into the fall, and that's a good way to set it off for me. I'm a big Christmas guy too, but Halloween I love Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween is my favorite as well, because you know what I mean.
Growing up, you get to go, you could dress up and go out and get candy at the houses, and you take it to school for the next week until your stomach blows up or whatever. Yep. There's just so much fun, and then being into horror, the movies and the being scared and stuff is great. So
I love scaring people. That was me in college. We had the haunted house every year for on campus, that people would come and they bring like canned goods, and we would donate them to like Goodwill. But we would always plan out the haunted house every year. We did it for a couple years, and I was in charge, so I had a blast.
Nice.
Now I just wanted to mention I'm originally from Michigan. And the drains in Michigan are not like the drains in Texas. The drains here in Texas are, at least where I am, north of Dallas, they look like the ones from the movie It, where it's the big long drain where Pennywise is looking out.
That was the second movie that I was going to tell you. The second movie that scared me when I was a kid was It and Pet Sematary.
Yes. So I have plans for the drain this year, because one of my daughters has this big yellow rain slicker, and I was like, I need a picture. We're gonna just get some latex balloons, and we're gonna have them coming out of the drain, and then have just my daughter from the back just with this rain slicker on. And I was like, I wonder if we could dress up a mannequin and put it there just to scare the kids. But I know this person, like whoever dummy we get there is not going to last long. Someone will just knock it out. But I was like, that would be hilarious. So I've been restrained for years because my kids are young.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait until
You'll
they're
be able
older.
to cut loose on them soon.
I'm going to be that house in the neighborhood where it's like, oh, you got to be careful on that one because they're going to scare you.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
We used to have back before, I'll say this real quick, but before things got a little bit tighter, I guess, where people were a little more concerned about their kids going out and doing as much, being whatever. We would be the house that would scare people and take a page from somebody else's notebook and do it next year. So we had one time we cut out a garbage bags and made it like a square, it blocking like in the front of my walkway. So when you walked up to my front of my house, there's a big black garbage bags covering the pillars and stuff. And there was just a hole in the middle. And you had to reach in there and get your candy. and we learned about it because I guess you probably heard it before, where you peel grapes and put them in there and it says like eyeballs and stuff.
Eyeballs, yeah.
People would actually, sometimes they'd do it and we'd go in there and grab them. When my buddy was hiding up in the tree behind them and he jumped down, he got my mom real good. And it was just a lot of fun. We had a guy that the quarterback buddy of mine that his dad would always go all out, man, and he had a big little haunted house in the back of his backyard. You got to go through and get stuff, and it was so much fun,
Yeah. I want to do some scaring.
That's
anyway,
cool. I hope you get to.
We gotta wrap up.
All right.
Why don't you tell people where they can find you real quick before we start, wrapping up the show?
Yep. Everything. It's spelled wrong. It's spelled differently. It's for Kingdom Comics. But it's KEYNGDOM and then comics. And you can pretty much put that in for Instagram. It's at Kingdom Comics. Facebook at Kingdom Comics, or look me up by my name. You should see my picture on the profile and everything. There's a couple of different Facebooks, but you plug in that Kingdom Comics and you'll find it. And then also kingdomcomics.com. And then again, probably on Kickstarter, you could find me by either one of those names as well. So look me up, check me out. Oh, and Nerd and Addicts also. My books are on Nerd and Addicts now too, with my buddy KJ, who's an indie guy. And it's kind of like Greg Mokeen over at Sear Nova, where they just give a platform to new indie creators, and they try to I have a little hub, and you can go in there and read books for free. Yeah. They vote on the top books of the week and everything. And do you know KJ? Or are you?
I'm in there as well.
Okay,
I was in the top 12 for the first few weeks when I put Path of the Pale Rider on there, but it's neat. I only have issue 1. I didn't put issue 2 and 3 up there for free. I put a preview so they could read the first 4 or 5 pages. And then it's like,
right, because it gets tricky because you want people to spend money. You don't want to throw everything out there. So
right, it can't all be free.
Yeah, it's been fun though. I'm glad he introduced himself, and it's I want to meet more people like that. So we'll get there though. Yeah, and he's in Texas as well. Yeah, he is. I forgot. All good stuff. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I had a blast. Thank you, Joefrey. It's always a pleasure. Yep. Man, I feel like when it comes, what? I'm sorry. I think we were overlapping the sound again. But I was just saying, when it comes to horror comics, I think you do such a great job being creepy and really pulling on the heartstrings of people. It's like, oh, I don't want to. Oh, they're gonna do it anyway. Don't go in there. Oh, they got no choice. It is what it is. So definitely appreciate you, and I know people will be seeing you again here on the show, and we'll be moving in the same circles. Hopefully, we can get to the same con someday, since we're both in Texas. That would be fun to hang out, shake your hand. I think so. At some point, thanks everybody for watching. And be good to your neighbors, your friends, your babies. Kiss your babies. That's what I was trying to say. And be excellent. We'll catch you all next week here on the Tuesday Morning Brew.
Entertainment Group presents the Madness Comic Network with original programming and additional comic-related content.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.